Why am I here?
Yeah, we're standing here with President Doug Shields. That is, after all, a lifelong title. Thank you for joining us here, both on the Green and on the Pittsburgh Comet. Why are you here?
Well, I'm here today to give voice to, just like everybody else, to protest what's going on in this country. The ascendancy of corporations taking away rights of human beings that are guaranteed to us under the Constitution. I'm here to support giving voice to free speech, no matter where it is. We have all these things in this country now, a suppression of speech. People try to establish free speech zones as if that can even possibly exist under the Constitution. And to give support to those that have spent the time and energy here to give voice to my concerns.
And what are your concerns?
Their concerns.
Okay.
Whether it's right now in Harrisburg, right as we speak now, corporations are working with the legislature to take away rights of local government with regard to oil and gas exploration. You've got Citizens United decision out there. It gives way undue influence of corporate and moneyed interests to subsume the political process in this country. You've got, when we did the parking garage deal, and I looked up who our partners might have been. JP Morgan Chase, put that word fine and JP Morgan Chase in an internet search. $60 million fine, $70 million fine. These are serial criminals, and there is no consequence whatsoever to their actions. But these folks come down here and give voice to their concerns over those matters, all of a sudden consequences are aplenty. And that's why I'm here today.
Now, you just heard a lot of people, they were giving, people were giving speeches. And we're joined here by another blogger, that's Dave D'Angelo of Two Political Junkies. Well, he'll get his interview in about 8 minutes, it looks like.
Okay.
Well, you heard a lot of, it sounds like these people were just taking turn at the bullhorn, expressing their concerns,
right.
Whatever's on their mind. Can you speak a little bit about the diversity, what were the common themes that you heard?
Well, I think the common themes is that we stand for something as a people here, number one, that we count. And we don't feel like that counts at all anymore in this society and in this government. The diversity, whether it come from working people, United Steelworkers being here, retirees have been here. There's a guy over here from SOAR, the Retired Steelworkers of America. Young people, old people, people that care about things have chosen to come here today. And it cuts across the spectrum, socially, economically, racially, across the board. Because you know why? Because we're all feeling the pain from the actions of this government as a result of them getting in bed with corporate interests.
Now, I'm curious what you think as we see a march is going around and around the Green right now. You probably have about 50, 60 people standing on the Green and there's a march around it. What do you think of this occupation in Pittsburgh? I mean, you've seen it reported in other parts of the country. You've certainly seen and experienced some of it here. Are there differences, similarity? I mean, what's the flavor here? And what do you think of it as far as the effectiveness?
One, I think it's an effective reminder. Somebody said, "Well, what are they doing?" I said, "They're there." Well, what then? I said, "They're there." I said that counts for much to have that in play here. The character of this protest. Unlike Oakland or Washington, D.C. or in New York City, certainly, I'm very pleased that it's been very nonviolent and it's been effective. They've been here since October. People go by this place every day and they're reminded that things aren't what they should be.
This is February 6th, by the way. We have it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And, I think Mellon let them on the land figuring they'd be here a few weeks, and nobody understood the depth of determination and resolve of the people that come here, or those of us that come here to support the people that occupied this place.
Now,
but again, the conduct in Pittsburgh has been interesting, peaceful, effective. And on the other side of the agenda, I'm glad that the local governments haven't taken the batons out and pepper spray either, and I think that's very noteworthy too. And I'll give a compliment to the powers that be that they hadn't reacted the way they have violently in other cities toward peaceful protests.
Now, I just because coming over your shoulder there, you've got a march coming up, and I saw the sign, BNY Mellon Corporate Felon. I was wondering, do you have any idea what that is all about, or do you know more in depth than I do looking at the headlines?
I mean, like I said, just as JP Morgan Chase, Boney Mellon as we call it, has been involved in all kinds of nefarious things as far as the transactions and violating rules and regulations that govern their industry, and they've got their cases against them for gaming the system, so to speak. I mean, I think they got a whole floor in that building where just people figure out how to read a law and then go figure out how to transgress it. And the evidence of that is, again, type in their name in the internet and the word fine, SEC action, or whatever, and you'll find them on the list too. Just as we saw with J.P. Morgan Chase, they're serial criminals.
Now,
if there was a kid in Larmer Avenue that racked up that many arrests for a felon, it's 3. You get a life sentence in this state. All right.
Yeah.
These guys, one week to the next, are constantly finding themselves being hauled up in the courts. Look at Florida with the robo sign-offs on mortgages. Nobody cared about the people in the homes. It was about getting the money.
Now, as a city councilman, I think this will be my final question. As far as these nefarious practices, whether it's Goldman or Morgan or BNY, you learn about them, you hear about them, and you figure out that they figure out new ways to screw you all the time. What is it that you learn? Because a lot of people figure, well, you're on the inside. There's large parts of the constituency of this movement that wouldn't trust anyone like you who ever run for public office, much less on the Democratic ticket. I mean, I guess part one is, what would you say to them as far as what you experienced working inside the system, is how they call it, and what did you learn about how these things are done that maybe they wouldn't know?
What gives me the unique perspective is I've sat across the table with these people and negotiated with them. I know who they are, I know who they behave, and I know they're up to no good. And, it's not what I think or I heard about on the news or read in a blog. These are real-world experiences. Look at our fights with a corporation named Lamar in this city. Look at our fights with Verizon when it came to light that they use illegal labor in order to lay their FiOS cable lines and take advantage of the immigrants that they employ. This is not a guess. This is actual real-world knowledge, and also effectively fighting those people, as I did in city council. And that's where you got to take the fight. And if you don't like
to city council.
Well, that's what I said. What I did.
Yeah.
But if you don't like what's going on, or you can't cultivate leadership, people like myself that were there for you, then it's time you get your name on a ballot and start running. It's the only way you're going to effectively change it.
Well, Mr. Doug Gielitz, thanks for joining us.
All right, buddy.
Thanks for running all those times.
Thank you.
And I'm sure I'll see you again.
Peace and love.